if we could just come together in the name of Jesus for the sake of sharing His gospel like we have no chance of doing separately and alone. You and I can identify just a little bit with Moses and the story of the children of Israel in their journey to the Promised Land. You and I have shared a similar story in our journey together. Through miles of wasteland and wilderness, across seas of trouble and over mountains of opposition, through some storms of conflict, and through deserts of loneliness and pain, to this island in the river and this community of faith that we call New Life Church. We too have left the safety of the familiar, like the people of Israel left the safety of their familiar slavery, still it was familiar, to follow God and seek God's promise. And we know about that place that's just across the way from the promise. So close, yet so far, it seems. We've dreamed the dreams and talked about the visions of a vital and exciting ministry to the people of this community, reaching out to the helpless and the hopeless with the love of God, sharing the gospel of grace and the power of Jesus' love with those who have nothing they think to live for except trouble, providing strength and hope and faith that rebuilds lives and gives people reason to live and reason to love. And as we look out to the future, we see a church that's filled with children and people learning about Jesus, a place where needs are met and dreams are fulfilled, a place where excitement fills the air and joy fills the heart. We see parking lots and elevators and outdoor praise services and after-school tutoring centers all over town and safe sanctuary for children. We see crisis centers and counseling for teenagers in trouble. We see a new kind of church that actually finds and rescues the lost and heals their disease and sets them free from chains that bind them and leads them to know Jesus Christ. We're so close, and yet sometimes it seems so far. Before we can enter the future and receive God's promise, some things still have to be changed with us too. We've come together, but we still haven't gone forward. We have neighbors now who don't know about God's love and have never heard God's promise. We will never reach the people of this community with the gospel of Jesus Christ until sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ is all that we live for. God has been so active and so evident in the events that we have witnessed and the things that we have experienced. Mountains have been moved and seas have been parted. Things that were said to have been impossible have become reality before our very eyes. God is building a new church for a new day, a new fellowship for a new generation, a new witness for a new age. The labor that we're doing now is just the foundation of what God is going to do in the future. We've come a long way, folks, a long way. But we ain't there yet. We're standing on the far side, looking at the promise, but we still have to cross a river and claim that promise. We have seen the power of God's hand over and over again in our journey together. And if we remain faithful, we will see the glory of God's promise.